And I would start shivering and wanting to cry, because in Swami's presence you feel sometimes so emotional. Early Swami is telling me that I must talk about it. In my years, I have done about 12 or 13 years of volunteering for Radio Sai. There were times when I would be interviewing a person and the interview would go awry, and the person is talking about more about themselves, less about Swami, or more about something dry and boring about their professional achievement, which Radio Sai listeners would not be interested. We are only interested in Swami, right? Then I just turn to Swami in that studio. He's always seated there and says, Swami, this is getting maha boring. Help, please. All of a sudden, a question like a thought bubble would go on, and a question would come to mind, and I would just go back, okay, if I may recap. And I would ask a question, and this person would come alive and start immediately speaking about the glory of our Lord. And in my mind, I would just look at the clock in the studio and note down at what time the boring part ends, because that would be my note to my editor: remove all that chunk, stick only to the Sai part. So it was so easy to work, because anytime you were stuck, you could ask Swami. Many times while doing Morning Glory with two screens and the panel in front of me, if I leaned between the two monitors, Bhagwan Singhasan was there. He was seated there. And if I read a quote which was from Swami, which would move me a lot, I would just look up, and Swami with his big black eyes would be looking at me like that, and I would start shivering and wanting to cry, because in Swami's presence you feel sometimes so emotional. And then Swami would realize that my voice is beginning to quiver. He would just look away and look straight ahead, because Swami had to look to his left to see me, but he would look straight ahead into the studio. And one time when I was taking care of my father in his last days, there was a sister of mine from Anantapur College whom I had told many times, yeah, let's do one fleeting moments, lasting memories, one recording of your interview, of your experiences. She would say, Didi, I will tell you next time. So then I gave up on her. Then when my father was very ill, she called me and she said, Didi, I am quite ready for this interview. Like, the timing was really bad, because I was looking after my dad 24/7. I used to come to studio only to do my part and do all the other work online. So I said, okay, you better be there before I reach, we'll talk. And she said, but I don't know how to prepare. So I made a very short appointment with her. I came to the studio. I said, okay, this is what you do. This is my standard brief. To prepare for this interview, you go to the mandir. You pray to Swami, and then you download all the memories Swami gives you. And you can just make one-word notations, as I have made, point-wise, and you come to the studio. Then you let Swami do the talking, and I will ask you questions based on your experiences. Don't worry, it has to be spontaneous. It cannot be rehearsed. It cannot be orchestrated. She said, okay, Didi, I'll do that, and I'll meet you on this day. We fixed a time. I made arrangements with my husband to take care of my dad, and I got the studio ready in advance. I just dashed to record this interview, but before the interview, she says, Didi, I want to tell you one thing. I said, what? She said, when I prayed in the mandir, Swami told me to talk about my husband's strange behavior and his mental health issues. Like, I'm being nice, actually. She used some other words. I'm like, oh, this is touchy, man. Do we have to talk about this? She said, yeah. When the more I prayed, the more Swami said to share the part about the difficulty in my marriage. And there were many not so pleasant parts to the story. Now, the problem was, her husband used to come to the studio all the time, and he would walk by my desk and say, Sairam sister, I'm going to sit in the studio and diss him with his wife. That wasn't like, I didn't know whether it was a wise decision. I said, sister, let's please forego that. Can we stick to the pleasant experiences when you were in hospital? She said, no, Didi. The more I pray, the more clearly Swami is telling me that I must talk about it. I said, okay, let's honor what Swami is saying, but please don't describe him as your husband. Just say a member of my family. She said, okay. And then we were talking about schizophrenia, bipolarism and all that. I said, let's just talk about mental health issues. That's a more politically correct term. She said, all right, we'll do that. So we went to the studio, and first we talked about how her family came to Swami, and she spent a lot of time in Anantapur because she did intermediate, bachelor's, master's, and some more studying. So she spent so many years. So she had so many wonderful experiences about interacting with Swami, and they were all joyful, and we almost forgot the difficult part that was going to come. So when she finished all this, now we had to face this moment of truth. So then I said, okay, Swami, how to handle it? Please help. Then I said, sister, these are all beautiful experiences. But I believe after all this grace and contact and whatnot with Swami, life dealt you a not very easy hand when you got married, right? She just, when I said this sister took a deep breath. She went, and she sighed, and her eyes were filled with tears. And at that time, there was a distinct sound in the studio. It went ting, 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 ting. And we said, what happened? What happened? We are recording, both of us, and we're looking on the floor, a bangle manifested. And it kept twirling like a top. And I couldn't make out what it is. I'm like, what is it? What is it? And from across the glass panel, the sound engineer stood up to see what are we two making a noise about in the middle of a recording. And we could record the sound of this twirling thing. And I picked it, and there was a beautiful bangle with a rainbow color paint and some gold filigree work on it. And I instinctively knew that this was for my sister. So I gave it to this Anantapur sister. I said, Swami has manifested a bangle, and she held on to it. And with composure and calm of only a woman who has been to hell and back, she spoke about her difficult marriage and the pain she faced being married to a man. After Swami approved the marriage, he was a white and white wearing head of a samiti, big lead singer and all that, highly respected, much adored by all outside the house. The story at home was very different. And the torture that she faced in this relationship and this marriage, till she told Swami one time that I can't take it anymore, Swami, this is the end. She gave many letters. She pleaded to Swami, with Swami. Ultimately, one time when she was about to give up, Swami looked at her so intensely and she cried loudly. You're not supposed to make a scene in darshan. She couldn't hold herself back. She wept, she cried. That time when she went back to her hometown, one Sai brother from the Samiti asked her, what is the matter? She told him. He went and took her to a psychiatrist. Without the knowledge of the husband, they got the diagnosis kind of done, and the doctor gave some medicine, which she gave her husband as vitamin tablets, till he slowly and slowly and slowly became a normal person. And today, he's a well-functioning member of the Satyasai family. And my sister from Anantapur is also much happier and much more at peace. After I did this interview, I simply cannot tell you the kind of feedback we got on our listener at radiosai.org. But more importantly, I'd be walking in the ashram and many women would stop me and say, you never realize so many people listen to so intensely to what goes on Radio Sai till someone stops and say, you know that interview you did, so many Western women could even pronounce my Anantapur sister's name, which is a long Indian name. You know, the interview you did with such and such person, that is my story. Because mental health issues are so shrouded in mystery and there's such a stigma attached to them. We behave like, so we want to wear blinkers and avoid addressing things. Not many mental health issues can be addressed and can be treated. But we push them under the rug and family members suffer so much. And through that one interview, Swami helped so many families and so many women that I cannot even begin to tell you. And that day when he manifested that thing, it was just an incredible experience for me to see a manifestation happen from sky, from the roof of the studio. I do not know. A beautiful bangle. I asked her recently, aren't you wearing the bangle? She said she's kept it on her altar and she prays to it.